For more on this story, we can go across to France 24's Catherine Norris-Trent, who is in central Kiev for us. Catherine, tell us where you are and what kind of resistance Ukrainian forces are mounting there.
Hi there, Delano. Right now, I am in the city of Kryvyi Rih in central southern Ukraine towards the east. And here, the situation is calm, but in the region there's an awful lot of tension. Around the nearby city of Zaporizhzhia, there are reports the airport was struck there overnight, and also fears that Russian troops are advancing towards a major nuclear power station in the region, the Nedahodor power station, which supplies electricity to a lot of Ukraine. So people are obviously concerned about that, especially given Vladimir Putin's recent remarks or threats about what they could possibly do at nuclear sites. We managed to speak to one employee in the power station this morning at 9:30 a.m. local time who confirmed that Russian troops were not inside the complex at present, but that only 10% of staff there were working because of clearly the big security fears. Now, in the cities around this region where we've been, there have been several air raid and bomb alerts, and we've heard those air raid sirens ringing out and seen people, ourselves included, rushing down to bomb shelters to try and keep safe. So there's clearly a lot of tension in the air, and a lot of people are watching what is happening with the Russian troops in the south of Ukraine who have advanced from Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. So there have been reports around of clashes around key cities, including Odessa, that port there on the Black Sea, Mariupol, another big port down in the southeast, that's on the Sea of Azov, where we were a few days ago. Lots of shelling reported there, and other battles around key sites on the southern border of Ukraine. And people in this area are very concerned that there could be an advance from the south. At the moment, the Russians don't seem to be gaining ground quickly, but of course that could all change fast.
It could all change fast. And Catherine, while you were talking, I can see there buses behind you, cars behind you. Mm-hmm. So tensions may be high, but people are getting around their daily lives, it seems.
That's right. People are trying to carry on as best they can. And yeah, there are people out on the streets in the daytime. At the nighttime, there is a strict curfew in place. And let me tell you, on the outskirts of towns and cities, there are new checkpoints being set up, heavily manned, heavily fortified with concrete blocks and armoured vehicles as well. They're the Ukrainian soldiers carrying out thorough checks of vehicles and identity papers. There are fears in this area that there could be infiltrations of Russian saboteurs. So people are very on edge. We've spoken to people in the city of Zaporizhzhia, and we know this is the case in other cities around the region, who've been told by local authorities to climb up onto the roofs of their buildings and check for any markings which may have been painted there. There are fears here among the authorities that Russian infiltrators may be painting marks or signals or guidance on the roofs of buildings to help fly military planes in bombing campaigns. So residents here are being told to cover up any suspicious markings and to keep an eye out. And we've seen people really mobilizing and organizing, building Molotov cocktails out of disused bottles, buying whatever they can, food, clothes, blankets, and really frenzied activity, packaging up these supplies to send away to the front line, to send away to the volunteer soldiers who are signing up in droves. We spoke to people who were physiotherapists, businessmen, security guards who'd left their jobs, their families behind, and are now going to fight and defend their city. So there's a real sense of mobilization here, even though for now the city centres aren't under fire.
Catherine, very briefly, we have these negotiations taking place now with the Russian delegation on the border with Belarus. The president, you heard there, said he isn't optimistic. What do the people have to say?
Well, I don't think many people here believe that Vladimir Putin is going to make any concessions. Lots of people think that these talks are just a trap. But what it has done, this conflict, has really galvanized the Ukrainian people. A lot of them, perhaps who were critical of President Zelensky before this conflict, have found a new respect for him. He has remained, apart from these talks, of course, on the ground in Ukraine, been pictured in military fatigues. He's come out onto the streets and urged people to keep on fighting, saying that he doesn't need a ride out of Ukraine, that he needs more ammunition. So people have been galvanized across the board and are coming together to fight. Now, of course, there are people, especially in the east of Ukraine, who have sympathies towards Russia, but where I am, people are very united and mobilizing fast and saying, this is crunch time. They've got to come together to defend their cities. And I don't think they believe that anything meaningful is going to come out of the negotiations in Belarus.
We'll see what happens, Catherine. Thank you very much for that update. Catherine Norris-Trent reporting there for us.